I forgot to run the test. That's working. And so is that. So the test is over. All right, let's get going here this morning. Let's talk about weight. We're going to talk today about the body and we're going to talk about weight. Yes, I'm on my chi machine. No, you cannot see my feet. We're going to just see if we get better views, are able to reach more people without my feet. Let's see about that. Okay, we're in the health section of the or health challenges of the app. It is also a section in the book where it just talks about different challenges that you might be facing in your health. And so that's actually really cool. But this particular one we're going to talk about is going to be weight because sassy habits, we talk about that a lot here. It is a pretty big problem in the United States and becoming more so around the Western world. A lot of that has to do, of course, with food choices, and food availability, the types of foods that are available in fast foods, the subsidization of the kinds of foods that do not support um, good health, and so they make that food more cheap because the government is subsidizing it, and therefore it uh, kind of pre not entirely, but does have a larger impact on the poor and the middle class than it does the wealthy because of the choice, the availability of choice. So it's really interesting because when you look at the food industry, and you look at the lobbyists and you start to hear and start to kind of look behind the curtain a little bit, then you see some interesting things like, do we actually have a right to Oreos? Do the poor have a right to Oreos? Well, I mean, yes, of course, we want the poor to have the rights to and access to the same things that the rich have the access and rights to. Unfortunately, it's just not true. But what we end up doing is creating a situation where it's cheaper to for the poor to purchase Oreos than it is for them to purchase organic food. Not organic Oreos, organic unprocessed foods that they can basically grow. It's difficult. People don't have the skills oftentimes of growing food either, even though food is exceptionally inexpensive to grow if you can learn to do it, and then if you can also wait for the harvest. So these are some really interesting challenges that we are facing at this time. And so we're going to talk about it a little bit today. I want to give you an example of that. Many years ago, if you followed my story at all, or if you listened to my master class that I posted a few weeks ago, maybe last week actually, and I highly recommend that. That's the story sort one. But if you actually, I'm going to repost that here because I had that on another channel. So I'm going to repost it on this channel. And so feel free to hop over there and listen to it, leave a comment. It is not good sound. I mean, the talking is good sound, but I didn't know at that time, and maybe it wasn't even possible that you could share music through the system. So you're basically trying to hear me playing music on my phone through the thing, and it's kind of a mess. But the principles are really good. It's almost 10 years since I did that. And even at that time, I was telling a story from 10 years before. So this is an old story, but it is timeless. But anyway, during that same time frame, my first husband and I were very, very poor. And we had four babies in 5 years. Yes, we know what causes that. And yes, we were trying to prevent it. Thankfully, they all came. What a delight. And it was a really, really difficult time, but we were really poor. My husband was trying to build a business. We had very little income. And I remember just kind of being in this space where we didn't have money to do anything fun, but we did have food stamps. So, guess what we did for fun? Yeah, we went and got a treat. And guess what we could get with our treat? I mean, thankfully, we couldn't get alcohol or cigarettes, which we weren't really into anyway, but we could get sugar. We could get ice cream. We could get pies, right? We could actually have the pie truck deliver a pie to us on food stamps because technically um it was not a prepared food. Like we had to actually cook it in our oven. And so this was just such an interesting thing. And also Papa Murphy's pizza because you bake it in your own oven. It's food stampable, right? At the time. I don't know what the rules are now, but anyway, it put us in this position where unfortunately we made a lot of poor health choices based on food as entertainment. That was just kind of the way that it went. And so this is an example of how the system being subsidized, paying for the poor to eat these foods, they basically are. And yeah, it was fun. And you'll hear me say, I believe on my master class, I said, at the time of um, the stress that we were going through, no, I don't even know if I said it on that one, if it was later, but stressed, the opposite of stressed is what? Desserts. Obviously, spell it backwards and you get desserts. Well, that is not true when you're looking at stress as, oh boy, did you just turn off my, what happened here? Did you turn off this? My cat just walked across my keyboard, but it looks like everything is still going. All right. Well, hello, kitty kitty. Okay, so stressed desserts. Desserts can make you more stressed because of what you're making your body have to deal with. And yesterday, as we talked about boundaries of your mouth is the first boundary and that discernment between what helps and what harms. Okay, so today we're going to talk about weight and we're going to look at some health challenges regarding weight and the emotional overview. So, weight challenges, you can just follow along with me on the screen. Weight challenges often offer deeper emotional patterns tied to protection, control, or shame. These patterns may develop in response to chronic stress. Gosh, I should have put my glasses on. Early messages about appearance or experiences that make the body feel unsafe. Disruptions in nourishment, both physical and emotional, can lead to coping patterns like self denial, emotional eating, or self punishment. When needs go, let's see, hmm, when needs go unmet or care feels conditional, the body may begin to carry the burden physically. Weight is rarely just a physical concern, it often mirrors an unresolved struggle in how one relates to their body, their needs, and their worth. So, we're going to look here at the potential emotional root. And this is internalized shame. These may not all apply to you if you're dealing with a weight issue, whether you're over or under. Um, Internalized shame or rejection related to the body, learned patterns of using food, restriction, or control to manage emotional stress, emotional deprivation or unmet needs in early caregiving relationships, difficulty processing or metabolizing stress and life experience, self protection expressed through physical size or presence, fear of being seen, judged, or harmed, especially in moments of vulnerability, ongoing conflict between receiving nourishment and feeling worthy of that nourishment. So you can see these are a lot of different things. And when you probably know people and you can look back in your own history, that of your children, other people that you know, situations and different things. Like my husband and I actually took foster parenting classes many years ago, and they talked about this situation where a lot of these kids that have been bounced around and have been in situations where their life feels unstable and unsafe, they'll hoard food, right? And they'll hide big, stashes of candy or granola bars or whatever they can get, and they'll hide them like a little mouse in their bed or under their bed or just like in different places where they feel like they have something that they can can control. And you have to help them to unwind that, to feel safe in your home, and that they do have access to food, and that they're going to be okay, and that you're going to continue to care for them. But these kinds of things, you can see how these early patterns of things, and like think back to your own childhood, think back to early situations in your life where decisions were made about what you thought about your body because of things that other people were saying, people in authority, people, well meaning people who maybe were trying to help you to avoid a situation that they themselves had found themselves in. And so they were helping you by giving you that information early so that you would not end up in the same situation. And through that, maybe you internalized something about yourself or about your body. My sister and I were talking yesterday. I was hoping that oh, let's see. What are we doing? Okay, we're still running, I think. Yeah, we're still showing live on YouTube, so we're in great shape. Okay. Um, we were talking about how when you think about it, like we think of ourselves, sometimes we think of ourselves and we identify with our body, like our body is us, but also our body is not us, right? Because like think about what would you eat or what would you do or behave in or engage in, um, or what do you engage in or behave in that later you totally regret because you see that your body like literally has no choice in the matter. I've thought about this many times about the issues of like the things that I'm deciding at the boundary of my mouth that I'm going to subject my body to. So as much as my tongue might love whatever it is that I'm putting on it, how does my body feel about having to process whatever just came in? Well, the same thing is true with emotions that we, or accusations or things that are emotionally hurled at us that we choose to accept, right? Is there a way? Can we create this bubble, this windshield, this golden net that zaps the stuff that we don't want to have into our lives, while at the same time allowing in those things that we do want to have in our lives? Can we create some kind of a force field or shield where the windshield is wiping away those things that people are throwing at us that we don't want to have become a part of our identity, but that allows in the love and nurturing that we need. So we're going to explore that a little bit today with releasing some of these emotions where we maybe didn't have that golden net or that bubble that lets love out and lets love in, but that's the only thing that can get in and out and doesn't allow, well, other than whatever it is that you need to release, but like what you're wanting to put out into the world in good ways, also allowing that love in. So here we go. We're going to look at some of these. So our underlying emotions that you might feel in relationship to your weight are unworthy, unnurtured, unsafe. And as I'm reading these, just like kind of feel inside your body, go ahead and take a deep breath. Burdened, emotionally disconnected, unseen, unsupported, maybe anxious or unclear, maybe imbalanced, suppressed, sensitive, intuitive, unprotected, shame, or even self sabotage. So, as we look at body issues, we always get the opportunity also to ask some clarifying questions. And so, as I'm looking at these and as I'm thinking about these different emotions, also going to ask some clarifying questions for myself. So, are we looking at the left side or the right side, the front of the body or the back of the body? Now, with weight, a lot of times it's kind of evenly distributed, but sometimes not so much. So, take a look at your body and maybe even take some time to look at your body in the mirror and love and accept yourself, but also um, notice objection, not objectionably, but objectionally. Now let's see, objectively. That's the word. So we're not objecting to your body. We're looking at it objectively, right? Without judgment. And you're just looking at your body and noticing, do you carry more weight in the front? Maybe you carry it more on the back side. Maybe you carry it more on the bottom, or the top. Maybe you're heavier one side than another. Maybe you're a little bit more pronounced on the right or the left. All of these things can indicate additional insights. They can give you additional insights. So for me, um, let's talk. I want to kind of go front and back because I do carry a lot of weight on both sides. I'm more equally distributed from left to right. The front and back, I have some going on there. So let's go ahead and take a look these clarifying questions because what they can do is they can help to explore your physical issues at a deeper level and in different ways. And you can explore the possible connections in the following questions for additional insights into what you are experiencing. So this actually what I'm doing right now is what I do in a personal coaching session as well. So you're going to focus on what resonates most with you, and then you're going to disregard anything that doesn't feel like a match. So you're not taking anything on here. This is just what the research has shown that these things can possibly relate to. So here we go. As we listen to our body's answers, ask yourself this question: what is my body? What is my weight trying to tell me? So here we go. And am I willing to pause and listen in order to heal? So again, you are not your body, which is why you have to listen to your body, right? You are not your emotions, which is why you need to listen to your emotions. These are signals, these are insights that can come into greater healing and deeper joy that are available to you. So here we go, left and right side, left side, right side. I'm going to skip over those right now because I don't feel like it's one side or the other. But I want to go front and back of the body because I'm holding both. So let's go with the front of the body first. It represents the future and the public or known aspects of the self. So here we go. Is something blocking my ability to move forward? So I'm going to take a deep breath. And I'm not going to look for a logical answer to this. I'm just going to listen to what my body is telling me. Sometimes I'll get a clear inspiration about something, and other times I get like this kind of child whimper that I feel inside. And either way, I'm here to hear that insight or to hear that little whimper and to comfort that little girl. So here we go. That was the first question. And then the second question, is there a disconnect between my public persona and who I really am? So this again allows me to take that nice deep breath and ponder this question. Is there a disconnect between my public persona and who I really am? And as I'm thinking through that, I'm allowing those thoughts to be noticed. And now let's go read the back of the body. And this is as it relates to past experiences and the private or hidden aspects of the self that are not exposed to others. So here's some look deeper questions. Is there something from my past that is weighing me down? Take a deep breath and just consider on this. Don't look for an answer. Just ask the question and allow it to come forward if there's something there. If there's not something there, but you notice that you feel a little defensive about it, then notice that too. Be like, that's interesting. And maybe at some point in the future, something else will surface. But for right now, you can just notice whatever it is that you are feeling about that and just notice it. Don't judge it. Don't try to stuff it back down. Just notice it. All right. So that's the first question. And the second question is, am I hiding aspects of myself that I don't want others to see? Take a deep breath and consider on, is there something that I'm hiding? And notice that if there's anything. And whether or not there is anything, we're going to go on to the next question. Is it recent or is it recurring? Recent indicates that's something that's connected to your current state. Mine is more recurring. So I'm going to go skip over that one and I'm going to look at this indicates emotional patterns that have built up over time. So over time, these emotional patterns continue in a way that, like the Grand Canyon, makes a big groove, right? And you have neural pathways running in that direction, and you have cellular patterns that develop and continue to run in that pattern. But remember, weeks ago, we talked about, or maybe it was on my master class where we talked about a lot of your emotional patterns are developed before the age of 11. And many of them are never re-looked at for many adults. So this explains the situation in our world perfectly, doesn't it? Bunch of 11-year-olds trying to solve big grown-up problems that they created, right? Okay, here we go. So let's look at this situation. What long-standing emotional patterns might be contributing to these ongoing symptoms? So, in the last little bit, as I've begun to do this work, what I have found is that I do have these long-standing emotional patterns. And when I look at them and realize, oh my goodness, I've been believing a lie. I have been believing something that is completely false about myself, and being able to release those falsehoods has brought me so much compassion for myself and has helped me to feel more confident in who I am and what I can offer to other people because of things that I believed about myself that were untrue. And so this is a great time to consider on some of those patterns and ongoing situations that are contributing to the ongoing situation. Is there a recurring theme in my life that I need to address to alleviate these patterns? I'm not sure. It looks like we're missing a word right there, but is there something that I need to address? Is there an ongoing situation in my life? Let me see that again. Is there a recurring theme in my life that I need to address to alleviate these concerns? So, what is the recurring theme, if any? So I'm just going to take a moment, take a deep breath, consider and ponder on these questions and allow them to settle and be answered. So we're not only doing a demonstration, but I'm actually feeling some of those things and allowing them to dislodge a little bit. Again, I don't have to know everything about everything. It doesn't have to like make sense. It can just be feelings that are just lodged in different places that need to be seen or addressed, and then they can go. It can be very, very simple. All right, let's go ahead. And now we've done some clarifying questions. So let's move on to the worksheet. Now, up in the top right corner, you'll see that little sunshine. That's going to take us to the worksheet. I'm going to reset and restart right here. Are you sure you want to erase? Yes, I want to. Okay. So what emotion is coming up? Oh, that's what I forgot to do. So I'm going to go back to the book. Let's look at these underlying emotions: unworthy, unnurtured, unsafe, burdened, emotionally disconnected, hmm, unseen, unsupported, anxious, unclear, imbalanced, suppressed, sensitive, intuitive, unprotected, shame, and self sabotage. Some of these you might be like, I wish I was more of those. That's okay. Go ahead and choose those if you're feeling that. I feel connected to emotionally disconnected. So I'm going to pull that one up and then I'm going to look at what oils come up with that. So we have marjoram, vetiver, geranium, huga, which looks like higgy, um, Malama, Magnolia, Ylang Ylang, Whisper, Jasmine, and Clary Calm. So I find this really interesting because geranium and ylang ylang are super helpful for women's hormones, for progesterone in particular. And I've been using those in my belly button a couple of times a day. And that seems to have been helping a lot in that regard. So that's really interesting. And then there's others. Magnolia is amazing for your adrenals. Let's see, Huga for connection, vetiver for deepening. Oh, and Clary Calm. Lots of Clary Calm going on at my house. Let's go with Clary Calm. I don't have it with me right at this moment, but Clary Calm is the oil of vulnerability. It encourages warmth in relationships. This is another one that's going in my belly button a couple of times a day. It stabilizes physical and emotional imbalances. It fosters emotional intimacy. It is a perfect blend for supporting pregnancy and child delivery. Oh, I did not know it helped with pregnancy. They tell you not to use it till the end. We'll have to read more. As it strengthens the mother-child bond. This blend assists women in accepting their maternal instincts and nurturing qualities. Clary Calm assists relationships by teaching individuals to be emotionally open and vulnerable. It eases the fear of rejection and encourages individuals to receive true warmth and love in their relationships. It also encourages feelings of empathy for others by reminding them to stay receptive to the thoughts, feelings, and needs of other people. This blend works as a powerful emotional stabilizer, especially during menstruation or menopause. Truth. And it releases emotional tension within the reproductive organs, and helps release the expectations of suffering and dread related to the monthly cycle. In short, Clary Calm encourages emotional intimacy and vulnerability. Okay, let's talk about that a little bit more because I think this is really key. And another thing that I've noticed about Clary Calm is that it is very helpful. We're going long today. Um, oh gosh, I can't remember what I was going to say about it. But I like this one. Oh, and the other thing I want to tell you is that we sometimes call it the menstrual cramp eraser at my house. I'm just saying. Okay. So you can inhale it from the bottle, you can diffuse it, you can place drops in the hand, you can put it in your belly button, you can rub it anywhere. It comes in a roller, so that's why it's nice, like an eraser. Like you can just roll it around on anywhere that's tender during that time of the month or as you're coming up to it. You can also put it over the sacral chakra, which is your lower stomach, which is where we put it when we're cramping, or on your wrists. It does have a strong scent. Some people don't like the scent. If you feel that way, go ahead and put it on the bottoms of your feet and around your ankles and put your socks on. Your ankles are where in your feet. Your feet have a map. If you're not familiar with that, go look up reflexology maps and start to learn the different places where different organs and body systems are housed. Their nerve endings are in your feet. So with your ankles, you can roll it around your ankles and you'll hit the areas for the reproductive organs. And so it can be very helpful for those kinds of things. Okay. So we're going with Clary Calm. We're breathing it in from the bottle. We're putting it in the belly button. I actually don't have it with me because I didn't know for sure what I was going to end up with here. And so what I brought with me actually is two that are kind of unrelated and a little bit out of reach. But because I grabbed those, we're going to talk about those as well, or I'm going to at least use them as well. Um, with Clary Calm, you're going to feel less guarded, less emotionally tense, less invulnerable, more safe, less dread or suffering during menstruation, more vulnerable in a good way, more receptive, more serene, more peaceful, more empathetic, more nurturing, more bonding. Um, Vulnerable. Let's talk about that for a minute. Um, oh, what's her name? The girl that did all the research on vulnerability. Oh, I can see her face. I've forgotten her name in the moment, but she talks about vulnerability as being the birthplace for love and connection. When you um, refuse to get vulnerable, then you basically are refusing to engage in loving and connecting relationships because you don't want to be vulnerable. You don't want to be hurt. And if you want connection and love, and many people long for this, but then they're like all walled up, so they don't want to be vulnerable because they don't want to get hurt because they've been hurt so many times. Okay, so this is an opportunity to feel more vulnerable, but in the kinds of ways that you want to feel vulnerable so that you can connect, if that makes sense. All right, let's move in because we're going with this. Emotionally disconnected is my emotion that I'm working on this morning. Emotionally disconnected, disconnected. ACTED. There we go. Disconnected. I got it. Okay. And then as we have been in the book, kind of looking at these things, anything that you feel like really resonates with you, then you can actually grab that and put it into your worksheet. Let's see here. I want to encourage individuals to receive true warmth and encourage feelings of empathy for others. Okay, so let's do some of that. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go back to that little sunshine and I'm going to add right here. I'm going to put in Clary Calm. Now, I told you I have another oil with me. It's not actually listed, but it was one that I picked up this morning. I actually picked up two. Whoops, I did that wrong. Let's undo that. Can we undo that? I'm not sure. Not easily. Okay, we'll go ahead and just grab that again, back it out. And we're going to put, this is what we're putting down here is some of these thoughts, some of these words. You don't have to say which oil it came from. You can actually just pop it in there because it's just information. Okay, I hope I'm not making you too dizzy with my phone going all the directions. All right. So the next one that I have with me is Citrus Bliss. And then I also have, and I these, and wintergreen actually has salicylic acid in it naturally, which is what they make aspirin out of. So you do have to be careful with this one. You can take a drop of it internally. It's like a baby aspirin. Just don't overdo it. And also be careful even on using it topically. Don't overdo it. Okay. And if you're on blood thinners, uh, consider not doing it. Okay, let's come back to the book and we'll look up. So we're in these emotions right now and under the oils, but let's just pop over to right here and let's look up wintergreen. Do you want to look that one up? Wintergreen right here. This one's the oil of surrender. That seems to go really, really well with vulnerability, doesn't it? And kind of creating that connection. It helps to release the need to control, fix, or force outcomes. That seems significant. So I'm going to go get that. And that kind of goes with our codependency from yesterday, right? It addresses the emotional toll of chronic pain, physical and psychological. Wow, that really fits too. Even though it wasn't listed as one under um, underweight, it does seem like it's really the one, right? Like this is a good oil. And I'm going to add those thoughts right here. Paste right there. Oh, I think I already did that one. Yeah, I didn't really get that other one copied. So let's try that again. Go back here. Wintergreen helps release the need. Copy. And I got it that time. I actually didn't watch to see if I got the copy button. So you guys are all watching me like, don't do it. All right, paste. There you go. Wintergreen helps release the need to control, fix, or force outcomes. How many times have I tried to do that with my weight? Sheesh. All right. And then also supports those who have pushed through suffering out of necessity, obligation, or spiritual belief. Pain often masks deeper grief or fear or longing to be seen. Wintergreen invites the individual to listen without judgment to the body's pain signals and unmet needs and to respond with compassion. Boy, that's really beautiful too. And I'm kind of skipping around here, but I want you to just kind of get the sense of like, if you will take the time to spend time with yourself talking about this, And looking into this, you're going to gain some really beautiful insights about yourself and about your past and about things that you are wanting to find some resolution to. So, all right, from the beginning here, let's look at this invites individuals to release not just their burdens, but their resistance. It supports those who have carried pain so long that they no longer know where it ends and where they begin. Okay, let's talk about this from weight. What if the pain is weight? What if you've carried weight so long that you don't know where the weight ends and where you begin, right? So, like you're identifying synonymously with your weight. And then what else is happening in the resistance? So, this allows us or invites individuals to release not just their burdens. And when I read this, I was thinking, like the burden of the extra weight that I'm carrying. So, we're not just releasing the extra weight, but we're also releasing the resistance, whether it's the resistance to releasing or the resistance to having that burden, that extra weight. Now that seems counterintuitive, doesn't it? So ponder on that a little bit. Okay, this often results in individuals bracing against life because they've, oh, let's see, it supports those who have carried pain so long. We talked about that. This often results in individuals bracing against life, afraid they will collapse under the weight. Oh, look at that. There's weight again. Wintergreen helps soften this internal tension by integrating, no, let's see, by nurturing, no, inviting. I can see inviting the soul through the doorway of humility. It reminds them that surrender is not failure, it's the beginning of relief. There you go. It addresses the emotional toll of chronic pain, physical and psychological. So we talked about the weight of lies, of carrying things that are not true and believing those, both physical and psychological. And it supports those who have pushed through suffering out of necessity, obligation, or spiritual belief. Pain often masks deeper fear, grief, or a longing to be seen and invites the individual to listen without judgment to the body's pain signals and unmet needs and to respond with compassion. Okay, let's grab that one because I like that a lot. We read this part about the need to control or fix. We can help release that. For those who rely on willpower, willpower is a major factor in weight. To survive, this oil offers retreat. No, it offers a reset. It interrupts cycles of over efforting and hypervigilance, and it restores the permission to rest. This oil affirms that strength is not only found in pushing forward, but in yielding. It helps individuals discern what is truly theirs to carry and what is asking to be surrendered. Wintergreen reassures that as the soul surrenders, the sacred trust in the divine unfolds to meet what is being released. Okay, this is so powerful. And it's not even in the list of things for weight, but it is so um relevant in my opinion. And so what I want to do is grab a little bit of that because I've been holding my phone and so I haven't put any oil on. But now I'm just like really wanting to engage with this oil a little bit. So I'm gonna drop in my hand and I'm breathing that in, rub it together, breathe it in. Goodness, I love the smell of wintergreen. I'm going to rub a little bit on my belly because that just feels like the place where it should go. So, this is the other thing that I'm hoping that you're gaining from this is like it's so wonderful how intuitive you are. And the more you engage with these gifts of the earth, the more intuitive you're going to become. So, even though I didn't know what I was coming in for exactly until I got here, and I brought a couple of oils so I would have something. The ones that I felt drawn to were wintergreen and citrus bliss. And the ones that I already use every day were the other three that we talked about, with Clary Calm being the one we focused on. So I'm now adding also citrus bliss, and we can look that one up as well. I'm gonna go ahead and breathe that one in. And even if you don't have, like, if you don't have a specific situation where you're feeling a particular emotion, it's still a great idea to go toward it if you're getting kind of a sense that that might be something that would be worth looking at. Okay, let's go ahead and look at wild orange right here by wintergreen. And this is the oil of abundance. Now, doesn't this fit with weight too? Because when we're thinking about weight, we're thinking about restriction and we're thinking about what we have to do and willpower and all of this stuff. And yet here we go. Oh, so I went to wild orange, which is the oil of abundance, and it is inside of citrus bliss. But that's interesting that I hit that one, and I think that's another great one. But so let's go and look for what I actually have, which is citrus bliss. Okay, so we're gonna go up to the top here, citrus bliss, go to the C's, citrus bliss. Here we go. Citrus bliss. Here we go. This one is the oil of creativity. It's a powerful fire starter. It brings motivation. This is another great one for weight and weight loss. Is like you need motivation because you feel like you want to, the drive when lacking. These oils are wonderful for addressing lethargy, discouragement, despondency, or a low will to live. When the soul has lost connection to the magic in life, this blend helps to restore the spark and it inspires creativity and you can see all these good things. It assists individuals in living abundantly and spontaneously. It encourages play and excitement. It can motivate you to use your true creative power, letting go of old limitations and insecurities. It takes courage to put yourself out there artistically or in other ways. And citruses bring color and imagination to your life. And this combination restores confidence to oneself and one's creation. Citrus bliss rekindles the fire of the personality, fills the heart with creativity and joy. Okay, this is just absolutely beautiful. And it does have, and I'm glad we pointed it out, that it has wild orange in it. It's one of its ingredients because that's the oil of abundance. So here we have citrus bliss and wintergreen that I've added to the clary column that's already on. And so these pieces, I'm letting them just kind of come into my body, breathing them in, and let's move to the connection, the emotion of being emotionally disconnected. So we're gonna go right back into the emotions and we're gonna look for disconnected. And I think we had emotionally disconnected. There we go. All right. What or who am I disconnected from? So that look deeper questions. And when you're reading these, again, you do not have to answer out loud. Someone or something might come to mind. You don't have to tell me if I'm your coach. You don't have to tell anybody. You just need to tell yourself. You can write it down and just notice that disconnection that you've got going on. And what is preventing me from being fully present? Maybe it's a belief about a situation, perhaps. What do I need to acknowledge and address before I can reestablish emotional connection? So sometimes it's as simple as acknowledging that there is a lie that you are believing as truth. Sometimes there's more to it. Whatever it is, start to acknowledge it now if you can see it and allow yourself to see it. If you can't, if you haven't been able to see it, just allow yourself to notice and look. Okay, good on those couple of questions. Now, as we're here pondering those, you can write down the insights that you have at this time. I like to use the voice box, which is down here at the bottom, but I can't use that while I'm while I'm on Zoom because it's disabled because you can't use your microphone in two places, even though I have it muted on the phone or disconnected entirely, it's still on Zoom. So it's disconnected there. Okay. So as you breathe, write down any insights that you have. And I'm going to ponder them because I don't want to take the effort to type.